Hello everybody, we have a new challenge coming. Basically this time my microphone did a bit of problems, so this time I'm recording without a microphone, so I hope it won't make a huge difference. So we have a mainline caro kann here. So I usually play knight g3 automatically, but I'm thinking whether should I play something else. So let's just go for the main line with knight g3, bishop d6, h4, threatening h5. Yeah, so we're just following main theory. So basically white is playing quite aggressively in this line, castling long, trying to attack black on the king side. Now I played his bishop to d6 rather than e7, which is considered to be slightly more solid. So it's a question of whether he wants to take me or not, but I think knight e4 is anyway a move that I want to play in this kind of position in order to liberate the movement of the pawn on g2. So until now this game was quite fast it's quite a fast speed. Perhaps black wants to exchange the bishop, so I think the move g3 makes sense now. So basically this is, I think, a very typical situation for the caro kann opening. So basically white is having a slight advantage thanks to his central pawn on d4, but at the same time black's position is extremely solid. He has this pawn on c6 and e6 which control the fifth rank and doesn't allow white to easily to do something active. So now I think I'll try to grab space with c4, sometimes threatening the pawn to c5, but generally I just want to play like bishop c3 right now, even though I might have some other promising things here. So now my main choice is either to take on c5, trying to force him to do something, but bishop c3 looks like the natural move, because I want to reinforce the pawn on d4 and put this bishop on the long diagonal. So white's position should be a bit better here, but in practice it's always quite difficult to break through black's defenses. So this is what black is relying on, that a lot of times the white player tries to push too hard, and in a lot of scenarios black even gets on top in this opening, but it does always felt to me like a too solid opening to my taste, so I never played it as black, but who knows, maybe one day. So black is having his first long thing in this game, even though I believe that yeah, he took on d4, that's the logical move. Now I want to take with the bishop. the bishop should be, because I want to keep the control over the e5 square. That's a key square for my knight. Yeah, now once again he's offering me to exchange everything. So it's a difficult offer to resist, because I don't really want to keep the bishop on c3, keep his bishop active on this diagonal. So I think the logical way to play here would be to exchange and then put my knight on e5, trying to play for a slight advantage. You know, knight e5 should be a good idea, keeping pressure on this pawn. Black will probably play his queen to c7. And then we will have once again a position which is always very close to equality, but always a bit better for white. So mainly thanks to his strong knight on e5. And yeah, now I think it's a good time for me to play some useful move, because black is not threatening anything. He can exchange the rooks, but I don't think I have too much to do about it. So I think it's sensible to make a move like b3, just to safeguard my pawns, and perhaps later on in the endgame I will have a route for my king to activate itself. Yeah, black doesn't have nothing which is too sophisticated, so it just exchanges everything. Once again, I don't see like a way to avoid it, so I'm just going along with him. Now it's kind of the difficult part, where I need to squeeze my advantage into a winning position, which is definitely not an easy thing to do. For example, now I could check along the d file, but I'm not really seeing where this is getting me. I can try to reinforce my knight on e5 with a move like f4, but at the same time it might be a slight weakening of my position. Perhaps I should just get my king slightly closer to the action with king b2. Let's go king b2. So what could black do here? That's also a question. So I believe that black would like to exchange also this strong knight on e5, but he could not play knight d7 immediately because the pawn on f7 hangs. So a move like king e7, perhaps defending the pawn on f7, and then trying to play knight d7 looks sensible. King e7 was played. Now he wants to play knight to d7. Now, once again, I don't really think I can avoid the move knight d7. But I think I can slightly annoy him with the move queen e3. Yeah, let's do queen e3. So I'm eyeballing the pawn on a7. I'm not really threatening to take the pawn right now, because my knight is also hanging on e5 in that case. But if black is to play knight d7, then I can exchange the knights followed by queen takes pawn, where I should have a relatively safe pawn. And if black does nothing, perhaps I can centralize my queen on d4 if he plays a move like a6 or something like this. So I believe black still did not solve like all of his problems. b6, okay. So he's trying just to defend the pawn on a7, but this move slightly weakening the c6 square. So I would basically really like to play a move like queen f3 here, but it just hangs the knight on e5. So apparently this is impossible. So yes, knight d7 coming on the next move. Now my main goal is to avoid it. Perhaps it's not possible. Perhaps queen f4 is a way to avoid it, because then if knight d7, he has some issues with the pawn on f7. Even though I must admit it looks slightly artificial to defend from the threat of knight d7 this way. But I'm not sure if I really have something better. I think I'll go for it. I would like very much to play queen to d4, but then after I take on d7 and take on g7, black will have a perpetual check on this square. So unfortunately this is impossible. I mean, it is possible, I just don't feel like allowing the perpetual yet. I still don't think I used all of my chances. I'm really not sure about what's going on. Maybe just play f4, but I kinda don't like it, to be honest. Ah, Jesus. So I think we have to go back to queen f4 with all of its, let's say, artificialness. Let's play queen c5. Yeah, this is also not too promising. Yeah, I guess I'll just go with queen d4. Try to see where this is taking me. Also, after knight d7, perhaps I would have some chance to get a pawn endgame, and I might have some chances to win in the pawn endgame, thanks to the fact that I will probably be faster to create a passed pawn in the pawn endgame. So if nothing else works, perhaps I will try to go for the pawn endgame. Okay, knight d7 was played. So now comes the big question: do I exchange, or do I try to keep the knights on the board? It's really unclear to me if I should exchange or not. So try to calculate. So knight takes knight, queen takes knight, king c3. Yeah, I could also go crazy, make a move like knight g6, followed by queen takes g7, collecting a lot of pawns, but this is already too risky to play with the piece down. Yeah, let's try to go for the endgame. Perhaps this is just a dead draw, but we shall see. Maybe I still have some small chances. Yeah, so we came to the pawn endgame. So white claims to be slightly better because his king is more centralized, and once again I believe he is going to be I'm going to be the first to create a passed pawn. So this is my argument, kind of. But to break down black's defenses here would be definitely a tough mission. So the question is, what kind of pawn structure am I trying to get? If I play a move like f4, it will play h5, and I will lose all flexibility with my pawns. So I'm really puzzled. He can also play a move like h5, trying to fix his kingside pawn structure. Maybe this is my best chance, h5. The more that I think about it, the more I like it. I think this is my best chance, h5. Yeah, let's go for it. Of course, I am always in the risk of missing something, and of course, white can also lose this kind of position. Everything could happen, but my intuition says that I still have some chance to win here. But who knows, I might be wrong. Basically, my plan is now to push the pawns on f4, g4. So basically push as far away as I can. And then to combine the passed pawn, which I am planning to make on the queen side, with some weaknesses that I will create on the king side, in order to get somewhere, still not clear exactly where, but we shall see. Quite a tricky position. I always find those pawn endgames to be very tricky. It looks like for a lot of people they think that pawn endgames should be the easiest endgames to play because it's only pawns on the board. But actually, perhaps they are one of the most trickiest endgames to play because you need to be a very experienced player and a knowledgeable player in order to understand exactly which pawn structures are in your favor or which kind of breakthroughs should work in your favor. And above all of it, the pawn endgames are very sharp, so basically you need to calculate a lot of variations, because if you miscalculate, you might end up in a scenario in which your opponent promotes his pawn one tempo before you, and then you might win. So really, if you try to enrich your chess knowledge and your practical knowledge of chess, study pawn endgames. I believe they are not, let's say, as frequent as, let's say, rook endgames, which I think are by far the most frequent endgames in practical chess. But they are somewhere on the very important endgame list. So he went a5, trying to stop me from playing b4. Now this is understandable decision. So basically, what is going to be black's next move? He cannot play on the queen side, so I believe I have to play a3 at some point anyways, in order to be able to play b4. I think I'll just play a3. So now it comes a battle of tempo. So which side has more useful moves to make, or it's not exactly useful, but pawn moves to pass to his opponent, because in these pawn endgames there are no pieces to move. So a lot of the times occurs a scenario in which both of the camps, both sides has their pawns blocked, and so it's very much a frequent scenario that in a pawn endgame there is a what they call a Zugzwang scenario. So basically a position in which you have no useful moves, or also you can refer it as a position in which any move you will make would be bad for you. So the opponent is thinking, this guy is obviously a decent player, 2200. He played the game very solidly so far, so I'm not expecting him to make like big mistakes in this endgame. So basically I believe it should be a draw eventually if black plays well. But white has some chances. f6, okay, here we go. So now I believe the move b6 is slightly committal because now his g7 and h6 pawns are fixed forever. So he has no opportunity to move the g pawn. So now, in theory, my pawn structure is more flexible. I'm just trying to figure how exactly do I make it work in my favor. So the obvious move would be b4, just trying to facilitate my pawns to make them mobile once again. Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I think it might be just a dead draw. But let's try. Let's just play b4. Let's see where this is taking us. Yeah, so basically, black can practically never play e5 because then I play king e4 and I have a very clear penetration route into his position. Yeah, so king c6 is the move. Yeah. So this is becoming extremely tricky right now. Now I can create fast pawn right now, but then it will take and play king b5, and well, this might not be a big deal, but I kind of afraid of this variation. I kind of like the move g4, you know. Something tells me this is the right move, pawn to g4. Because if I play pawn to f4, I also might lose some of the flexibility of my own pawn structure. God, I really feel nervous at this point. I really do. I feel like I should have a winning continuation here, but I'm afraid to go wrong and not to find the right continuation and to feel a bit silly about it. I play g4. Let's go with the intuition. So basically I see a scenario in my head in which I push my c pawn, which is probably inevitably going to be a passed pawn. Yeah, so he played king d6, so now I think this is the best chance I would have to create my passed pawn, and I believe I should win. I really do. So do we go for it? Yeah, let's just do it. c5. I think I've got this. So you'll probably take, I will play king c4, and I will start to push my pawns, and for him it's impossible to create a passed pawn, because as soon as he will play his pawn to e5, I'll play the move pawn to f3, and then basically we have a scenario in which 3 pawns stop 4 pawns. So I really do believe that white should win right now. Now I will just go with my king over on the b file. And once again, remember that I told you that this h5 pawn would be very good in stopping his pawn from moving. Now, if it would be the same position, only with his pawn being still on h7, perhaps then it would be a draw, because then black could move his pawns and he will try to get a passed pawn. But now I just don't see how could black get a passed pawn. So I'm feeling a bit excited, actually, if I manage to win this endgame, this tricky endgame. I think now he's thinking a lot. Perhaps now he starts to understand that he's in a bit of trouble. Yeah, he can think as long as he wants, but probably his position is now beyond salvation. So in the meanwhile, until the opponent will kind of decide to move, I wanted to seize the opportunity to ask each one of you, the viewers, um, to write in the comments any suggestions you have. Should I play more blitz games, more fast games, or should I stick into longer time controls in which I can do more commentary and explanations? Should I play bullet? Should I play other chess variants like some uh, some some chess variants that there are on lichess.com, lichess.org rather, and just write whatever you want. I will write it, read it, and take it into consideration. Okay, king d7. So I guess he's trying to confuse me a bit, but this is I don't see a reason. What's the big difference between this and king c6? Yeah, because I can always play king to b4 if I want to pass the move to him. And whenever he plays king d5, then I will seize the chance to play king b5 and start pushing my c pawn forward. f5, yeah, so this is black's last chance to create something, but here I think I can very simply take on f5, followed by pawn to f4, and or I can also play king to c4. Not sure if there is even any difference, but I think both moves are winning, but it's really, this position is all about this pawn on h5, which makes his 3 against 2 advantage on the king side just useless for him. It's really all about that guy. So let's play king c4. I think by this point almost any move should win. Yeah, he's playing his pawn to f4, but now I can just very calmly play f3. And I think black will soon resign. Now the king has to go back. And basically now I think I will push him and until the edge of the board. And but then it won't be a stalemate, because he always have a legal move with g5. Yeah, so black will play king c7 probably. I will play king c5. Oh, king e7. Well, I don't really see how this is changing anything. But let's play king e5. Of course, c7 would be a very rushed mistake. Yeah, now... Yeah, finally he resigned. Jesus. Was this intense or what? Let's check it out a bit. So I really believe I played quite well the endgame, but I'm not sure where was black's critical mistake. Yes, perhaps f6. I don't know why, but during the game I had a feeling that f6 gave black the bad pawn structure in which he suffered later on. So the computer says king c6 should... It says a slight advantage to white, but it really comes to a very concrete play right now. This is a bit of a weak engine, so I think I will check this position more thoroughly after the video. I still do believe that white has chances to win here. It's still not so clear. And yeah, before that, let's see if I had something better. It felt kind of equalish, but slightly better for white throughout the game. 45, yeah, we played quite decently, both of us apparently. I never had a very significant advantage, so it was always a solid slight advantage. You see, he also played very decently, I must say. I mean, kudos to him. Yeah, but eventually, maybe I will even post some analysis of the specific endgame for its educational value sometime later on. Anyway, it was perhaps not the most exciting, attacking, sacrificial chess ever, but nevertheless quite a nice educational game. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time. Bye bye.